Direct from the Best Damn Sports Bar on Martin Street in Penticton, this is Coach's Corner, presented by Underwriters Insurance. It's time for your weekly fill of Vees conversation and BCHL news and notes with members of the Vees organization, fans, and the local media. Now let's get to the hockey talk with head coach and GM of the Vees, Fred Harbinson, and your host, Ryan Pinder.
Welcome to Coach's Corner. We are live at the Best Damn Sports Bar on Martin Street, brought to you by Underwriters Insurance. This week, episode 17 of the program, where we chat with the head coach and general manager of the Penticton Vees about, well, the playoffs. They arrive Thursday night, the Quesnel Millionaires and Vees in a best of 7 starting Thursday and Friday at the SOEC. Also a look back at the awards banquet, some notable regular season achievements, and a huge pair of awards handed out to a member of the Vees today. And finally, we'll close out with questions from our audience, emailers, and our media panel. The head coach and general manager of the Penticton Vees is Fred Harbinson. Good to see you again.
Nice to see you, Ryan.
Let's start with some breaking news. Joey Lalezia just named by the BCHL the Interior Conference MVP and top defenseman. Very impressive.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and well deserved. When you think of, the 2 years combined, the amount of points that he's put up is amazing, and then this year to follow up, after getting 65 points last year as a defenseman, this year, tying Duncan Keith's record with 82 points is way above my expectations as a coach. There's no doubt about it. We talked this off season when he was trying to decide if he was going to go to college, if he was going to come back, and the one thing that I always talked about to him and the family was that I figured that he'd come back, and everybody was talking about working on the defensive side of the game, and I really stressed that I thought that there was going to be a good chance that he might end up with maybe 40 to 50 points, which would still be an amazing accomplishment by a defenseman, but not to focus on worrying about the offense, because we lost a few guys up front, and it was clear to me after about October that that wasn't going to be a worry, that he was becoming a heck of a better defenseman on the defensive side of the puck, and then to put up the numbers he has just been mind-boggling.
Just to go back to last year, he's a rookie, 17 years old. He did get the most points of any blue liner in the league, but people always had the excuses to lean on. Manderson on the half wall on the power play, Bo Bennett on the power play, Alex Shahura, who wasn't talked about a lot, but is at Ohio State having a great freshman season, and then Milan, a guy that scored 30 goals last year. There was a lot of excuses why a 17-year-old rookie could do so well, and right now people aren't making excuses, but I think just saying, okay, this guy's a serious player.
No question about it, and I think it's something that national hockey teams need to look at, because when you look at Joey's resume, he's done it everywhere he's been at, and it's not going to surprise me when he gets to Denver University next year, and over the course of time in his college career, will it be right off the bat? Who's to say? But I think over his course of his career in college, he's going to be a point-producing defenseman in the WCHA, and so then what's going to stop him from doing it from the level above that? And so I think he's definitely opened a lot of people's eyes. He's proven a lot of people wrong, and he's definitely gained the respect of his teammates. And I'm real proud of him. And he's a player that's grown up in front of our eyes. Being an AP and then 2 years in our program.
I remember this little guy in salmon arm coming out for a game, and you put him out on the power play. Got ugly late. You took him off, but it seemed like eons ago.
Yeah, no doubt about it. It's it's funny how the years kind of roll together, but he's a great example to people about taking their time. You got to give his parents and Joey a lot of credit, but especially his parents, because a lot of times the parents are the ones steering the ship. And he had tons of opportunity to go as a 16-year-old. Either he could have forced our hand to keep him here, he could have went to other junior A teams. He could have left early to college. All these different things that he could have done, but he just took the opposite approach of too many people right now, is the slower approach, and it's definitely paid off for him with everything he's getting right now.
Let's get back to some hockey. The Vees closed out the regular season on Saturday night, extending your undefeated streak to 6 games of the win over Quesnel, and that just happens to be the team you'll face in round 1 come Thursday and Friday. What are the Quesnel Millionaires as a hockey club, and what sort of game planning do you have to do for them when it's a 7-game series versus just a 1-game shot?
Well, first off, I thought they played real hard for a team, for a team that hasn't won a ton of games lately. They're a pretty honest team. They play hard. I found that they were disciplined in their system where they only pressured a lot of times with one guy. They made sure they had 3 to 4 guys back in the neutral zone, really tried to clog up the middle of the ice, tried to force us to dump pucks a lot. So, the thing for us is that we're fine with dumping pucks. We've got quickness to get to it. We need to make sure that we're placing pucks in the right areas. And then when we get there, if we get there first, we need to protect it. We need to hang on to it. It'd be tough to play against below the circles. If we don't get there first, then we need to be punishing, and we need to wear down their decor over the course of time.
Finishing second versus third was a big topic of conversation right up until Sunday afternoon when we found out Salmon Arm had lost in Coquitlam. You finished with a record of 38 wins, 17 losses, 3 ties, and 2 overtime losses. How does the record and finish second stack up in terms of just the head coach of the ship, what expectations were, and maybe, I guess, some other years you've had?
Well, I think it's been a funny year because when you look at it, to me, as I've always have real high expectations, and I think I always put 40 wins as kind of that's a huge benchmark. I think it's real. I think you've had an unbelievable year if you get 40 wins, and you look at it, there's only one team out of 16 that hit the 40 win mark, and none in our division, which just talks back to the word parity that we've talked about all year long. And Vernon wins the division with 36 wins. The year that we had 36 or 30, I think it might have been 37 wins our second year, we finished 4th. So
you lost the tiebreak to Westside.
Yeah, and finished 4th. So, I just think this is going to be an exciting playoffs. I think we're real happy with finishing second. We had one team that we struggled with statistically, that was Vernon. And one win there, all of a sudden we finished in first. That's all it would take, because it would take 2 points away from them, 2 to us. So I think it was a successful season. Statistically, once again, great on the power play. Our penalty kill was real strong in the second half. I think everything about our program. We started off as far as our attendance at the beginning of the year was real poor because of all the hockey that was going on. The second half has been outstanding. We've had a lot of crowds in the 2,000 plus mark. So everything about our program is kind of moving in the right direction right now. And we're happy that we finished where we did, and we're excited about Quesnel coming here Thursday night.
The series is an interesting one because it pits teams that are over 600 kilometers apart against each other. There is going to be a sizable break because of Toby Keith. The Vees will start Thursday, Friday. There'll be 2 days off, 2 games and 2 nights in the Caribou, then a day off. But after that, it would be 3 and 3 nights if it would go to 5, 6, and 7. You don't want to say you want something to end quickly. You want to make sure you win it. But that said, this could get really ugly if it's a long series for either club.
Yeah, and you know what? It's our job is just to make sure that we're focusing on Thursday, Friday. Thursday, obviously you're 1 game at a time, but Thursday, Friday is what we're worrying about. Then you got your 2 days to kind of recharge, and we'll have a couple short practices over at Memorial Arena to get ready for playing in the smaller confines of their building up in Quesnel, and now then you re-attack and decide. You concentrate on those 2 games. If you're down in the series or whatever it is, if the series isn't over and you got to go back for a game 5, then once again you just concentrate on that game. You can't worry about 5, 6, and 7 and all that. And you know what? If that's what happens, that's what happens. But you're going to create an issue if you start looking at, we can't let this happen. We have to win in 4, or we have to win in 5. And the bottom line is you have to win 4 before they do, and then you re-attack. And the nice thing is hopefully it doesn't change soon. But with the exception of Bezo, Bezo's sort of probably not going to be in this weekend, but he's very, very close, and depending on how the series goes, we have a lot of different interchangeable parts that can go from line to line, guys from the stands into the lineup, and we have a couple APs that can step in. So if we get into a series that goes long, we can make some changes there and still be fresh.
Just to follow up on the Memorial point, that's kind of interesting. You've got 2 days off before going up. You are going to go to the small rink. Is it a good duplication of Quesnel, or is it just better than playing on the SOEC? How helpful is that?
No, it's a great duplication because we do that a lot of times when we go to Merritt, go to Quesnel, go to Prince George. Smaller confines, livelier boards, funny, quirky bounces. That's all what you're trying to do, is that you have to make decisions quicker when you get into those buildings. Neutral zone's tight. a little different for the goaltenders. So no, we've been successful with that model the last couple of years that we've done it, and we'll do it again.
We'll take a break and return. Some award banquet notes as well as some pretty impressive achievements over a 60-game season. We'll talk about those. This is Coach's Corner live from the Best Damn Sports Bar on Martin Street.
Here's a look at the upcoming games for your Penticton Vees. Home or away, you can catch all the Vees games on Easy Rock AM 800 in Penticton or online at myeasyrock.com. Join us next Thursday at 5:30 at the Best Damn Sports Bar for the next edition of Coach's Corner, presented by Underwriters Insurance.
Welcome back to Coach's Corner. Episode 17 continues live from the Best Damn Sports Bar on Martin Street. Brought to you by Underwriters Insurance. Let's go back to Sunday's awards banquet night. I thought all in all, just a great evening. Nice to collect the big family of Vees supporters, staff, volunteers, players. I mean, pretty neat.
Yeah, no, we're very, I've said that since day one coming here. We're very fortunate for any level of hockey to have the amount of fans and amount of volunteers. I mean, you can't run junior hockey without great volunteers, and we were able to recognize a lot. Unfortunately, I missed one group of them, and I'd like to mention now is that the off-ice officials, for whatever reason, in my speech, I kind of dropped the ball and forgot to mention them. And we have probably the best off-ice officials. Not probably, we do have the best off-ice officials in the entire BC Hockey League. And sometimes when you get into those things, it's easy to make a mistake, and that's what happened. But you know what? We're very fortunate here in Penticton and with the Vees to have so many people that are so passionate about our team and about the game of hockey, and makes my life very easy and makes our program very professional.
Well, Elijah won 2 awards today from the league. He picked up 2 on Sunday as well. The top D-man goes to Derek Johnson. That had to be a tough decision. Another one, Stetcher without an award, but an unsung hero or most improved. I mean, it's a tough one because not everyone can get an award, but maybe just talk about that battle of decision making.
Yeah, I mean, it's not easy. I mean, you're trying to, I think you take a lot of times their whole body of work too. I mean, what did Joey LaLeggia get last year? Nothing, right? So, yeah. So I mean, a year, I think a lot, kind of goes into the body of work, and some guys have been with the program a couple of years, but, nothing. I mean, Stetcher's, to me, one of the best players in the league, and he's going to be again next year, and no slight on him at all. He knows what we think of him, and he's got a NCAA scholarship out of this season, and he's playing on our power play. And for a 16-year-old, you got to look back. There's not a lot of 16-year-olds that put up the minutes. You look at our time here. He's logged the most probably minutes of any 16-year-old we've had in my 4 years here. Yeah,
I think the ones you'd probably have comparable might be Johansson, who's a forward, but he didn't play nearly as much in the first half.
As much the first half.
And Jobke didn't play as much.
It's not even close. And I think Stetch might have been a healthy scratch 1 game this year, and he missed obviously the 6 games or 5 games, to the injury. But only been a healthy scratch once, and when he's in, he's playing big minutes and playing on our power play.
Yeah, good point. Other note, Kyle Bolya, kind of the surprise feel-good story on Sunday. He picks up the unsung hero as well as the Vees most popular. Did that surprise you?
No, it didn't surprise me at all. I mean, he's quite the character in the locker room. Obviously I told my story in my speech there about how far he's come. I mean, he was quite the nervous kid in training camp, and just wanted to impress, and happy to be here from Williams Lake. And he's really grown into a heck of a defenseman. Had his best weekend of the season this past weekend, and looking forward to seeing him in the playoffs.
Finally, guys that finished the league with some impressive numbers. Benix, 30 goals, lead all rookies. He was a snub in the BCHL Interior Conference Rookie Awards. I thought he'd be a shoo-in for 30, but I think he was at his best when you were playing all those coastal teams in January and late in the season. Your interior foes didn't really get to see a lot of them. Another achievement, O'Donnell leads the league in power play goals. And then Derek Johnson, the penalty minutes bell toller. I didn't expect that.
Yeah, it was kind of funny to see him with the penalty minutes leader. But, everybody's deserving. There's so many good players in our league this year. And it's, the biggest thing now is the playoffs and seeing, if we can get one big team award.
Finally, Bennick and Mountain were the only two players that suited up for every single Vees game, the Ironmen. Both Americans, neither have been in a best-of-7 series, and neither have played schedules this long. That's impressive.
Yeah, a big difference from high school hockey, and I think, like you said, I think they've really picked it up over the last little bit, and excited for the playoffs.
All right, we'll take a break. Return. We'll have Dave Crompton from the Penticton Herald, as well as some emailed questions and questions from the audience. This is Coach's Corner at the Best Damn Sports Bar.
Here's a look at the upcoming games for your Penticton Vees. Home or away, you can catch all the Vees games on Easy Rock AM 800 in Penticton or online at myeasyrock.com. Join us next Thursday at 5:30 at the Best Damn Sports Bar for the next edition of Coach's Corner, presented by Underwriters Insurance.
Welcome back to Coach's Corner. We are at the Best Damn Sports Bar on Martin Street. This is episode 17. And it's brought to you by Underwriters Insurance. As always, we're joined by Dave Crompton from the Penticton Herald for our media panel. We'll get some questions from emailers and our live audience as well. But Dave, you've got something for the coach, I'm sure.
Yeah, Coach. Obviously, Quesnel, not a high-scoring team. I don't think they have a guy over 15 goals. But do you still plan to do some line matchups? And also with having a guy like Mountain, which you maybe didn't have that kind of shutdown guy in the past. I was wondering what your philosophy is going to be on that one.
Well, yeah, I mean, even though they don't score a lot, you just got to be careful with, especially in their building when maybe in the playoffs it might only be a 1 goal difference. So I think you want to try to find maybe how our lines match up against theirs, not necessarily trying to shut down one of their lines, but maybe how we can be more successful, maybe a speed against guys that maybe don't skate as well, maybe strength against maybe they're smaller guys. I mean, we got to look at different ways to do it, and a lot's going to be on their defensive core too, and they're still waiting to see in net if Uday's back in net there. I know he had a concussion, and Harris was in net the last game, and so we'll find out kind of who's healthy and who's going come Thursday night. But yeah, you know what? I think the big thing is try to match up our centermen and our defensive zones on our face-offs. I think you mentioned Mountain's been outstanding, so we'll take it. The first game we've kind of figured out where we're going to go with it, and then we'll take it from there.
That's good.
As for Udi, he's only played 3 minutes and 20 seconds against your hockey club, but he's a guy that theoretically could be the starter for the Millionaires if he's healthy. I wonder if that makes the scouting report tough, because he's seen 4 shots against your team. The Hallcrow played a bunch in the first half, and you've seen Harris late.
Yeah, you know what? We're not going to worry too much about either one, whoever's going to go in there. I mean, they both. The bottom line is we need to get to the net, get to making them make saves. Don't miss the net early in games, and I think no matter we've shown we can score against any goaltender in this league. So if it's a guy that's only played a few minutes against us, then I think we've gotten to both their goaltenders, and I think they can't feel all that comfortable coming into our rink.
Al, speaking of home ice and at your rink, Al Formal always says the pressure's on the home team starting a series. You got to win your 2 at home, and then the pressure switches to the away team. Do you sort of agree with that notion that you've got 2 home games, you got to win them to sort of hold the momentum?
Yeah, but I think we're comfortable at home. I mean, we've been real good over the last, my whole time here. I mean, we've ended up with 6 home losses this year again, and so I think we're not going to hide from it. I mean, it's probably a pretty good statement. I guess the pressure's on us first, and I think we're going to enjoy that pressure and take it in and use it as motivation to get off to a good start.
Speaking of games 1 and 2, they come Thursday and Friday night from the SOEC. The reason this is a Tuesday night Coach's Corner with Toby Keith on Saturday night, everything moving forward. And Peter Brothers Kids Free promotion continues for the Thursday and Friday games. 12 and under, if accompanied by an adult, get in free, and students 13 to 18 get in free as well. Not only that, but kids get to redeem their game tickets to the concession for a small hot dog or a small popcorn and pop combo. And you've heard the kids the last few games. There's been a ton in there. It's been a pretty lively event center.
No question. It makes for a fun atmosphere. It really gets our guys going, and the more kids that we can get in that building, I know it's exciting for all.
So thanks to Peter's Brothers again for that. Question from an emailer. Matt emails us every week. He says, Coach, Are you going to approach this Quesnel series the same way you would approach the series if it was Vernon or Salmon-Arm?
Yeah, absolutely, no question about it. I think if you don't respect your opponent, you can get yourself in a lot of trouble in a hurry. And honestly, I only know how to do my job one way, and it's it's we put the foot down to the down pedal to the metal and get after it. So it's we've already broken down the games against Quesnel. We've put a game plan together for our players, and no different than if we were playing Vernon Salmon-Arm or Powell River or whoever. And and if we're fortunate enough to get through these guys, which we darn well better, and then we'll refocus on our next opponent.
I actually, just before you arrived, I broke down the season series numbers as well. A couple things jumped out at me. Your power play is at about 42.7% against them. That's been incredible. And Joel Rumpel's numbers are awfully tidy, just over a goal a game in his 3 appearances against this hockey club.
Yeah, the game that we lost them up in their building, it was 0-0 halfway through the third period. We just couldn't find a way to score on Hallcrow at the time, and then they got a goal late and then an empty netter, and that's the one win against us. But they showed flashes the other night, and anything can happen. So we just need to be patient, play our game, and we'll let things sort of play itself out.
John's here in attendance, and he forwarded a question to me. He says, Coach, are you going to tweak the lineup, or are you going to keep the lines where they're at in terms of maybe what we've seen the last week and a half?
Well, we've made a few changes. We made some changes mid-game last game too. So, you know what? We'll play the first game out and kind of see what needs to be changed. Like I said, it's not a threat. We've got very good depth right now, and so if for some reason something's not working or a player is not, is having trouble, then we can maybe make a change, and it might be within that actual 20. It might be just moving one guy with somebody else, or moving somebody in from out of the lineup. So there's a lot of different things that we can do that makes us stronger. It puts pressure on the guys within to make sure they bring their A game every night, which they should at this time of the year anyway.
Finally, playoffs. As a coach, is this when you start to lose sleep, or is this when you get that much more fired up to be at the office? How do you approach the second season?
I don't know. I think the longer I've done it, I think years ago I'd probably lose more sleep, but right now I'm feeling pretty good about our team, and I feel like we're prepared. I think it's like one of those things where the regular season is studying for your big final exam, and I think if you don't study, you usually go in pretty nervous, and if you've studied hard and you kind of know your material, I think you usually go into that test feeling comfortable and confident, and usually are pretty successful. And I think right now our guys probably feel that ladder there, and I know as a coach, I feel that we've done a good job teaching. I think we've covered a lot of bases, and now it's just about going in there and executing.
Games 1 and 2, Thursday and Friday night at the South Okanagan Event Center. Saturday and Sunday will be days off in the series. Quesnel will host game 3 and 4 on Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday a travel day if necessary. It'll be game 5 next Thursday. If that game is not necessary, we'll be right back here for Coach's Corner next week. Who knows? Game 6 and 7 would follow on Friday and Saturday as well. Coach, thanks for your time as always.
Thank you.
This has been Coach's Corner live from the Best Damn Sports Bar on Martin Street, brought to you by Underwriters Insurance.
Coach's Corner is a presentation of Ryan Pinder Media and the Penticton Vees Hockey Club.